Sound of wind whistling through bare trees, distant siren wail fading quickly into unsettling, low-string drone. Narrator, voiceover, grave, urgent. Imagine a secret so profound, so monstrous, it could live among you for 3 decades. Visual, fade in from black to a grainy, sun-drenched photograph of a young woman, mid-twenties, laughing, vibrant. Emily Vance. Her smile is infectious. Hold for a beat, then quick cut to a blurry 1990s local news overlay. Local woman vanishes, followed by a stark missing person flyer, yellowed with age, taped to a telephone pole, fluttering in a sudden gust of wind. Text on flyer reads, "Have you seen Emily Vance? Last seen October 17, 1993. Narrator, it was autumn, October 1993, in the quiet, unassuming town of Harmony Creek. A picture postcard place where maple leaves turned fiery gold, and folks rarely bothered to lock their front doors. Neighbors knew each other's kids, their quirks, their routines. They trusted without thinking. Then Emily Vance simply vanished. But what they didn't know was, her car sat untouched in the driveway, keys still in the ignition. A half-eaten dinner cooled on the kitchen table. Her favorite horror film paused on the VCR. She simply evaporated. A grief-stricken woman, Emily's mother, collapses into an officer's arms, her cries muted by the chilling wind. Narrator, the air in Harmony Creek grew thick, heavy with unspoken dread. The town's name, once a comforting promise of peace, now echoed only with one chilling, relentless question. What happened to Emily Vance? Panic ripped through the community like wildfire. Children were suddenly forbidden from playing outside after dark. Doors once hospitably ajar were now double-bolted. Everyone looked at everyone else differently, suspicion blooming like a virulent, ugly weed. Visual, close-up on a faded police evidence bag, its contents tantalizingly obscured. The truth was hiding in plain sight. Then a rapid montage of yellowed newspaper clippings from the era. No LEADS in Vance disappearance. Town on edge. Police baffled BY mystery. Shift to a wider, drone-like shot of Harmony Creek, a sleepy main street, but with an almost palpable, unsettling tension hanging in the crisp autumn air, a shadow draped over every familiar landmark. Narrator, the initial search was relentless, exhaustive. Every abandoned barn, every treacherous creek bank, every dense inch of surrounding forest was scoured. Search dogs barked hoarsely, their tails still. Volunteers shouted Emily's name until their throats were raw. But the ancient woods gave up nothing. The creek flowed silent. The cold earth kept its secrets. It was a perfect vanishing act. Only unanswered questions. And a gut-wrenching suspicion that the truth, whatever its shape, was buried impossibly deep. Deeper than anyone could ever dig. It would stay buried for decades. But the true horror wasn't just Emily's disappearance. But what they didn't know was, it was the terrifying, unimaginable truth about who was responsible. A truth that festered beneath Harmony Creek for 30 long, agonizing years. A secret kept by a killer no one ever suspected. A killer who lived among them, unseen. Unchallenged. Visual, a very quick, almost subliminal flash of an ordinary, smiling face in a crowd from old archival footage, perhaps a grainy town fair. The face should be indistinguishable, fleeting, just a chilling hint of anyone could be them. Immediately cut back to the dark, unsettling drone and a lingering shot of the fading missing poster. Narrator, how could an entire town be so monumentally, tragically wrong? Visual, fades from the lingering missing poster to warm, sun-drenched archival footage or recreated scenes. A small, bustling town square. Children laughing, bicycles leaning against a fence. A vibrant main street. The unsettling drone softens, replaced by gentle, nostalgic acoustic music. Narrator: the town of Oakhaven wasn't always a place haunted by questions. Before the whispers, before the fear, it was home. A place where life unfolded with a predictable rhythm, gentle as the river that wound through its valley. But what they didn't know was, Sarah Jenkins knew that rhythm by heart. Visual, close-up on a smiling young woman, maybe 20, with bright, curious eyes. She's laughing, perhaps pushing hair out of her face, caught mid-sentence. Her clothes are simple, air-appropriate but well cared for. Transition to scenes of her life. Working at a local diner, library, or hardware store, walking her dog, sketching in a park, talking animatedly with a friend. Narrator: every morning, the scent of fresh-baked bread from Miller's bakery would drift through her bedroom window. She'd wake with the sun, pull on worn jeans and a favorite sweater, and head downstairs, the floorboards creaking a familiar tune beneath her feet. Anchors in a world that felt safe. Sarah was the kind of person who saw beauty in small things. The dew on a spiderweb. The first blush of autumn leaves. She filled notebooks with sketches, her nimble fingers bringing to life the quiet corners of Oakhaven. The truth was hiding in plain sight. An old oak tree by the creek. The chipped paint on the town's iconic clock tower. Faces in the market crowd, each etched with a story only she seemed to fully observe. She wanted to be an artist, to capture fleeting moments, preserve them on canvas. Visual: Sarah sketching intently. Then a quick montage. Sarah helping an elderly neighbor carry groceries, laughing with friends over milkshakes at the local diner, playing fetch with a scruffy dog in a sun-dappled field. Her genuine warmth radiates. Narrator: her laugh was infectious, a bright, clear bell that could cut through any quiet room. She had a way of making everyone feel seen, heard. Kids at the playground adored her. She was the heart of her friend group, the one who planned impromptu picnics, organized movie nights under the stars. The future stretched before her, a canvas waiting for her boldest strokes. And that's when investigators noticed something strange. She talked about art school in the city, but always with the caveat of returning to Oakhaven. It was home. It held her dreams. It held her people. She felt connected, woven into the fabric of this tight-knit community, a thread of bright silk amidst the sturdy wool. Visual: Sarah walking alone down a tree-lined street at dusk, perhaps returning from the library or an evening class. The light is soft fading. The music becomes slightly more contemplative, a hint of melancholy, but not overtly ominous yet. She looks thoughtful, perhaps humming a tune. Narrator: she loved the evenings too. The way the streetlights hummed to life, casting long, dancing shadows. The murmur of conversation drifting from open windows. The faint scent of wood smoke. It was a time for reflection, for quiet dreams. Years later, a phone call would reveal. Heart full of hope. Visual: a close-up on Sarah's face again, serene, hopeful, maybe looking up at the sky. A very subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the music. A single, low, sustained note that just barely touches the edge of discord. Then her eyes seemed to register something just outside the frame, a flicker of awareness, but still peaceful. Hold on her gaze for a beat. Narrator: she knew the shortcuts through the park. The back alleys behind the general store. The quickest route home when the moon was high, and the night air bit with an unexpected chill. She walked them without a second thought, without a shred of fear. Every face she passed was familiar, every house a known landmark. This was Oakhaven, her sanctuary, until it was. Visual, quick cut to a blurred, shaky image, maybe a street corner at night, or a fleeting glimpse of a parked car. Then a sharp, sudden crack of sound like a twig snapping, or a distant door slamming. Immediately cut to black. Narrator, and then, suddenly, devastatingly, the rhythm stopped.